I was the radio KHQ play-by-play announcer for the Spokane Indians of the Pacific Coast League, the top AAA minor league player developmental team of the Seattle Mariners. At least we were in 1980. Affiliations with major league teams often change from year to year. On the morning of Sunday, May 18, 1980, we were in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, wrapping up a weekend series with the Canadiens with a day game. Well before the first pitch at 1 p.m., we were all aware of the volcanic eruption as we followed the event on TV before the game. At game's end, around 4 p.m., we were told that Spokane was shut down due to the massive ash plume that quickly made its way across the state. We were all looking forward to heading home after a long road trip, but that wasn't going to occur. Our parent team, the Mariners, took us in and put us up in a Seattle hotel until further notice. So our adventures began. Monday night, we were invited to attend the Mariners game in their then home, the Kingdome. I rented a car so as not to be hamstrung by traveling by the team bus. I grew up in Los Angeles and saw myself as a somewhat sophisticated kind of guy who called his own shots. During the game, our trainer, Doug Merrifield, told me he had just washed the Spokane players' uniforms and personal underwear. I told him I'd be happy to take the wash back to our Tacoma hotel, only after I made a few stops in Seattle. He agreed and gave me large plastic bags, blue and yellow, of laundry that I stuffed into the rear of my see-through hatchback car. I drove around Seattle looking for interesting bars and restaurants. But after not finding anything I found interesting, I headed back to this Tacoma hotel. Turns out, just up the street from the hotel was a bar called My Place that featured beer, popcorn, pool tables, and scantily clothed female dancers. I went in and spent an hour there. When I returned to my car, the hatchback was wide open, and the 2 bags of freshly washed baseball uniforms were gone. At first, I thought one of the guys from the team took them as a joke, but that wasn't the case. The bags were stolen. I got back to the hotel and told the trainer, Doug, and called my boss, Larry Cohentop, in Spokane, with the bad news. I was in my first year with the team, and I was worried my career was going to take a huge hit. The eruption of Mount St. Helens was the last thing on my mind. But the next day, I alerted the local Seattle media to an unusual angle to the volcano blowing up. The word got out, and the uniforms turned up in a Tacoma schoolyard 4 days later. But it was decided to resume playing in Ogden, Utah on Wednesday, instead of going home to Spokane to play the same team. So, the day before the uniforms were recovered, we flew to Utah to play the scheduled games. And so with no Spokane uniforms to wear, the team had to wear Ogden's road uniforms all the while I was on the radio describing the scenes, while leaving out some details of my key involvement in the scenario. We were finally allowed back in Spokane over the following weekend, and despite a recommendation that people not gather in large numbers because of the air pollution, volcanic ash was everywhere, seeped into our cars, our apartments, you name it, the baseball season carried on. Our starting pitcher, Randy Stein, known as the team cut-up and funny man, took to the mound wearing a surgical mask and played with it on, which led to him getting his picture in the papers all around the country. So that's what happened to the Spokane professional baseball team in the aftermath of the May 18, 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens.